Welcome to Grey County Life on Rogers TV. I'm one of your hosts. This is Charlie, getting very chill and relaxed for today's show. We're at home this week. Miss Mary Jane is off gallivanting and has left us in charge. I don't know what she's thinking because it's, you never know what's going to happen. But we do actually have a very good booked up show today. And first of all, we are going to talk with Marilyn Jones from our local family YMCA. Marilyn's got some new job titles and she's got some exciting news for us in regards to water safety, which May is the Water Safety Month. So perfect timing, Marilyn. How are you this morning?
I'm great, thank you. It's wonderful to be on. Thanks for inviting me, Rhonda.
No problem. You know what? When I think about the why, and water safety and lessons and that sort of thing, my mind goes back to Carolyn and Emerson being, this big and being down at the Family Y down on 2nd Avenue East, which, we're all very vertically challenged people. So I always had to carry them because it was too deep in the deep end for my little guys. But with our new facilities, which I guess they're new to us, but they've been around for a while, it's a fantastic pool, and you've got the ramps and the warm water pool. I really, really like that one. So it's been a busy couple of months for us heading into this Water Safety Month.
It is. We have been doing a lot of Swim to Survive program with the schools. We have people are coming back and enjoying our lane swims and our aquafits and everything. So it has been very busy. And we are moving into water safety, and this is May 2-4 weekend, hard to believe already, coming up. So I do have some reminders for people, and we actually are linking up with Life Saving Society and doing a splash month in July. So every week we're going to be focusing in on one of the water safety tips kind of thing that and lots of activities for families and children to participate in. So stay tuned on social media for that there is going to be a lot that the family can get involved in. But definitely some of those key takeaway points coming into time when we're moving to waterfronts, beaches, when you come to the pool, our lifeguards keep people safe. They look for situations that could potentially create a dangerous situation, and they prevent that from going further to become a tragedy. But when you're at open water, there aren't those lifeguards in this area. So just keep in mind, if you're going on any kind of watercraft, life jackets or PFDs are a necessity. I tell the students when we're teaching them, I'm a lifeguard and I still wear a life jacket when I go in a canoe. So, no matter what you think your level is, you need to make sure that you're wearing a PFD or a life jacket, and keep the alcohol away from boating or when you're going to be near water, because alcohol and water just don't mix. That's just not safe. Just always remember that socially, it's great to hang at the beach and have friends, but keep your eyes on your children. Don't let those little ones go out of your eyesight, and make sure that if you are in water, that they're within arm's reach. That is kind of life-saving, as always. Have your children within arm's reach. And we promote that in the pools, but also definitely at waterfront, because it doesn't take long for a big wave to come and take your little child out of reach. So those are some of the big take-backs from, main points. Keep your eyes on your children. It only takes a split second for a little one to toddle over to the edge of an outdoor pool, and in they go. Obviously, lessons is one of those big things of how to prevent any tragedy from happening this summer. And so we have just launched a next set of registration for lessons, just started yesterday, and we still have lots of open spots. I have worked hard with my team. A lot of our university students came back, so we are able to open a lot of lessons for this sessions starting the end of May right through until Labor Day, basically all different kinds that fit families, once a week lessons or 2 weeks where they come every day. Lots of options for families that I'm hoping we can get everyone in to some lessons. And
Marilyn, like if you have a membership, you can that includes swimming lessons. So you can, even as an adult, you can go in and get some refresher course if you haven't done it for a long time, but just to give you a little confidence in the water, because it's not just little people that are struggling. I think that people who maybe didn't grow up around water and then they go to the beach and they run into trouble. But your membership includes swimming lessons.
That's correct. So when you're a member, you get one set of free lessons per every session, and that's included. And it's a great way, because then you not only have your lesson, but then you can come and use the facilities at any point. So it actually is cheaper to become a member, and then you have your lesson free and you have access to the pool all the time. So if it's raining outside, come to the pool and have a swim as well. So we really do promote people to become a member of the Y, and then they have that benefit of free lessons, and that's for all ages. So adult lessons. And this summer, we're excited to bring back life-saving sport. And it has not come alive again since COVID. So we are excited to be offering that as a free program to members as well. And life-saving sport is just an amazing program. It is competitive and it is fun. And it combines competitive swimming along with those life-saving skills. And so we're having a kickoff for anybody that is interested in checking out what is life-saving sport all about on June 6th at the pool here at the Y. We're having June 6th, 6:15. Come check it out, see what the events are about, just see the fun that it is. And it's for ages 10 to 100. So there's a master's program that we're really hoping to be able to get the adults as well interested, that they may be bored just swimming lengths up and down, up and down, and up and down. And this is going to give them an opportunity to learn new skills and also how to save people.
That's awesome. Marilyn, hokey doodle, we're out of time. I can't believe it, because I know we wanted to talk about Meaford and the lessons that are available across Grey and Bruce. So if people have questions, they need to call our local Y and find out where lessons are available, because they're all over the place.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Sometimes, for a wish to come true, it takes a kingdom, because together is stronger. Tied tight, united we stand, in honor of one child's wish, to fuel the fire that will grant many more. Join the kingdom.
After a night out with your friends, there's always options for getting home safely. You could call your BFF, your mom or dad, whoever you can count on for a safe ride home. You could call your favorite cab company or 1-888 taxi guy. Or you could use the Arrive Alive smartphone app to help you choose your ride. Be it a friend, transit, or taxi, getting home safely is app easy. Now available for iOS and Android devices. Visit arrivealive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive, drive sober.
Don't forget to tune in to Great County Life on Rogers TV next week. We have the City of Owen Sound letting us in on all the great events that are going to come this summer. Welcome back to Grey County Life on Rogers TV. I'm one of your hosts, Rhonda Brown, with the always delightful Charlie, chilling out and at home today. Marilyn Jones from the Y, we ran out of time, but she wanted me to share the fact that Jumpstart program is some funding that they've gotten access to at our local Y to help ease the burden of the fact that we don't have enough lifeguards in our communities. So it helps you pay for your lifeguarding courses that you need to take in order to get certified so that you can be a lifeguard locally. So if you have any interest in it, this is the greatest time to do it, because between now and December of this year, you can access these funds to get the courses under your belt. And Marilyn was saying that they actually have some retired nurses that, they've taken the courses, they're now lifeguarding. It gives you a little bit of income, gives you some exercise, gives you a reason to get to the pool, and you get I think she said, you get your membership paid for as well at the Y. So win-win-win all the way around. So if you're interested and you want to look into these courses, get a hold of Marilyn at the Y, go on the website. There's lots of information out there, but great opportunity these days. I know I pushed both of my kids and neither one of them would do it. I don't know why. I think it's a great idea. So anyways, right now we have our next guest, and we have Britt Hutch. And Britt is a very interesting person with a very sensitive topic that has traditionally been something that I think a lot of people avoid, but it is, her website is Passing in Peace. So Britt, welcome to the show. Thank you for bringing this topic to our attention. And yeah, absolutely. I think that ease of conversation around passing away and everything that entails is so important. How did you get to this occupation, Britt?
What really brought me to it? Thank you for having me, first off.
Yes,
happy to have the opportunity to talk about this because, like you said, a touchy subject. I always say, we live in a very death-phobic society and nobody wants to talk about death, let alone plan for it. But I truly believe it is one of the most important things you can do for not only yourself, to bring yourself some peace and ease at the end of your life, but for your family members, to remove that burden of having to make very difficult decisions on your behalf if you have, in the case of, unfortunately, sudden, unexpected, tragic deaths happen all the time. And we don't like to, accept that, but it is the truth. So I like to say it is never too early to plan and execute that plan, put it in place. And it was really my own personal losses and my grief experiences that brought me to this work. That is kind of the magic of it, is because I also feel that the more prepared you are, you can minimize your own death fears and allow your people left behind just a different and better grieving experience, and remove some of those traumatic memories that happen when you're not prepared.
Yeah. I think I read something that you wrote about true grief. What is true grief?
Well, it's not the societal version that we expect to see from people. I think it's something that lasts with you and changes you forever. And we have this strange version of a timeline. You can be talking about a profound loss only 6 months after it's happened, and people are kind of sometimes go, oh, you're not over that, and why are we still talking about this? And that is so silly, and it is very cultured. It's a part of our culture, not to say anybody's doing things wrong, but we have the Kubler-Ross stages of grief, which I love mentioning, was never written and built for someone who is left behind in grieving. They were initially intended for the dying, and they make a little more sense when you look at it like that. So I've experienced people going, what am I doing wrong? Why am I still grieving? Why do I feel this way? And you think you're supposed to fit into this standard box of grieving. You don't. We're different. We live uniquely, we die uniquely, we grieve uniquely. And it's just, I think we have a skewed idea of what grief is, and we keep it to ourselves so often that people are afraid when they hear the truth of it.
So this passinginpeace.ca, what are people going to find on your website?
Well, one thing that I hope we get a chance to kind of chat about a little bit, and I know we have limited time, so I'm going to leave other websites as well and some resources for people to kind of continue on with their research, but how to prepare for death, essentially. And one thing that you'll find on this website that I think is so very important is what you would call an advanced care planning workbook. I've created a 42-page digital workbook. It would be kind of like your living will. And it includes, you name it, from passwords and personal information to your end of life. So we think about funeral planning, which is also in there, but we don't always think about and focus on how I want to be cared for before I die. And that is very important. So it talks about, you can educate yourself on things like the physical dying process. If we know what changes to expect, again, we can mitigate some of the fear and the panic and the, emergency situations that don't have to be emergency situations. It might just be the beginning of a natural, normal dying process happening. So again, this workbook available on my website. Funeral planning, legacy projects are included, a space for family recipes you want to leave on for loved ones and everything in between. So it's a good way to get started. Now, that being said, I like to mention that you hear people talk about things like advance directives. And in some provinces, that is an acceptable will and signed, sealed, dated, and sufficient. In Ontario, that is not the case. It is quite a bit different. In Ontario, you must have a legal written will. Okay, so you have to get your lawyer, and you're going to include this, say you hop on, you get this workbook or any other, because others are available. You're going to include that living will part in your will. But in Ontario, you've got to pay a lawyer, have a legal written will in place. It does not have to cost you more than $300 to $400, which is a misconception. Sometimes you get suckered into thousands of dollars later. Doesn't have to be that way. You can get a standard written will that are going to include two very important pieces that I want to touch on. Some people are well aware of these two things. Some are not. We have no idea. So in your legal written will, it's going to include your power of attorney page. Okay, so this is going to state who will be responsible for your personal care, who will speak for you in the case that you can no longer speak for yourself. This is very important. Think about who that's going to be and tell them, communicate with them your wishes. They need to know, because in case of cases, which we hate to think about, this happens often, and we need someone to advocate for us and know what we want. We need to know the hard things. With a terminal illness that might involve suffering, would I want to know about MAID, medical assistance in dying? Controversial topic. Oh, I'm sorry, I got some weird computer thing going on here. There we go. Controversial topic, yes, but I have seen with clients, it brings some peace and comfort knowing you can have that paperwork done and in place without picking your date. You can pick your date, your goodbye date, 2 days before you want to say goodbye, but still have that in place and set and sealed and an option.
Well, and I believe, is that something where if you have an illness that maybe incapacitates you, you have to have all of that paperwork looked after in advance?
Ahead of time. This is right. And I have seen some really sad situations where somebody is completely lucid, knows what they want, and that they're going through basically hell on earth and want to say their goodbyes. And by the next day, you may not be lucid, and these doctors cannot sign these forms at that point, which, having your power of attorney in place, this person can speak for you and say, I know what they wish for, and we are going to continue with this process. That is one option. Me being a common law married woman, married, not technically married, my hubby would have no say. So he is in as my power of attorney, who can speak for me if I no longer can speak for myself. But yes, that's a really important part to know, is that you can do it. Literally, I had a client do it a year in advance, a woman living with ALS who was terrified of what her end of life might look like. in all honesty. So the relief that I saw that bring her to know it was an option brings me to tears. And yeah, it's not appropriate for some people. I absolutely get that. And for some it is. And it's something important to know about. So pick your power of attorney, communicate with them. The second thing you want to think about that will have to be included in your legal will is your executor or executors. So opposed to your pre-death care, this person's responsible for your post-death care. After you die, funeral planning, who will be responsible for my pets, my children, my property, if you have a property, and people that are in their 20s, kids, have pets who they care for, have maybe even a home already. So again, it's never too early to do these things and put these things in place. And then you want to have your living will options, every little detail as well put into this document. And we call it a living, breathing document, meaning update it annually, biannually. As your life changes, so do your wishes.
Yeah. Right. Well, and as you say, your what you've accumulated is always changing.
This is true.
So you need to have these in there.
Relationships change, life changes. So it's good which is great that this advanced care planning workbook that I have on my website is digital and fillable. I like written copies of things, so print it off and have a physical copy too if you like. But you can just keep it digitally saved on your desktop. And that's something we forget to communicate to people too. Where am I going to find this info in the case of cases? Yeah. Very important.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't, it's already a sad, grief-filled time. It's not something that is easy. So having everything in order just to mitigate all of that stress is so important.
It's a chaotic time, right? And it's so hard to think about the things that need to be done. I like to call it sad administration, but the amount of work that goes into, after someone dies is difficult and an incredible amount of work.
Yeah.
I do have another free resource on my website. I think I've named it the Survivor's To-Do List. And it's brief and basic, but it's totally free. And it just includes, I think, 9 points on things you'll need to be aware of having to do after someone dies.
Wow. And I think I read on there too that you provide classes. You'll do one-on-one consultations.
That's right. That's right. Just to see where somebody's at, what type of care they need, as death doulas provide non-medical care, practical, emotional, spiritual support. And in your end of life, you need a team. It takes a village. So you still need your PSWs, your nurses. I was so happy to see that you had Jeremy Woodley on. I have contacted Woodley Care Services because as much as we don't want to hear this, Care Partners is kind of the most common through hospitals. They're booked for weeks out. So amazing that in our community, we have that option, as well as hospice facilities. We don't think about asking ourselves, where do I want to die?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be in hospital. If you want to be surrounded by medical professionals and in hospital, great. If not, there are some other options. Death doulas are helping people to build teams to die at home if that's what you so choose.
Wow. So you know who to contact, how to get them in touch with who they need to in order to facilitate staying at home.
That's right. As well as offering respite care. So I will show up. I mean, we forget that often it's a 24/7 job for family members to be caring for a loved one if they're dying at home. And it's excellent to have, you need a PSW and nurses, excellent to have something like these private practices like Woodley Care Services. But a doula shows up in those in-between times when you just need extra support, companionship. And I sit with people one-on-one to develop your care plan. We schedule and figure out what it's going to look like and who's going to be there when.
Wow. What started you on this journey?
It was my personal losses, my grief journey, if you will. Lost my brother. He was only 7 years old, and I was also at a very young age. I was 16 at that time. And then, well, later in life, when my dad passed very unexpectedly, I realized I had lots of work to do in terms of my grief, and it was traumatic. We had no idea what we were doing, and we were the in the death denial culture that we have here in our North American society, and it made for a very difficult journey. And I have realized in doing some work, in healing myself, that it doesn't have to be that way. The more prepared you are, the more, in any situation, the more smoothly things can go.
Yeah. And that's just it. I mean, if, there are every imaginable scenario in the process of dying, but if you've at least got some documents, you've collected your information, you've made it easier so that if it is a sudden event, or if it's something that's gradual, I mean, I think everybody thinks, oh, we've got lots of time for that, but not necessarily.
And that's sad, but very true. Accidents happen more often than we like to accept. And the more prepared you are, the earlier prepared you are, it honestly reduces some trauma for the loved ones left behind. And you can find yourself some peace and closure on your deathbed. This is something I love to add in. It sounds fluffy and it's not very, but so important. Live your best and fullest life. Don't hold off on doing the things you love. Yep, we work. We've got to put food on the table. Take the unpaid week off work. Take the kids or your best friend to the beach. Make those memories. Allow yourself some peace and closure on your deathbed, and having, the other logistics in place ahead of time reduces some burden and grief trauma for your loved ones. It really does. So say the things, say the I love yous. And
Britt, I absolutely love your message and I believe in it wholeheartedly. So you know what? Go out, live your life and enjoy. And we thank you so much for coming today. Your website, passinginpeace.ca. And we will put some things on the screen for everybody too. I'm sure Mark will look after that after. We thank you so much for your time today and look forward to hearing from you in the future.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great day.
I don't care what the law is. I will never be a slave. That word, I hate it. It rests on my tongue like rot.
Peter, how does it feel to get paid for your work?
There are rumors freedom's coming for us all.
Freedom, that's all I want.
Chloe, careful. Vrooman would rather sell you across the river to America than let you go free.
Then I'll run.
I've run before. Maybe this time for good.
No! Just get her into the boat. No!
Chloe! Chloe, no!
Word of Chloe Cooley's resistance led to Canada's first legislation limiting slavery. After 200 years, slavery was abolished in Canada in 1834.
What kind of show do you want to see on Rogers TV? What interests you? Log on to rogerstv.com, fill out a show proposal, and tell us about your segment idea. We want to know what you want to see. Rogers TV, only on Rogers.
Every year, dozens of Canadians are killed or seriously injured because they take risks around railway tracks. Talk to your loved ones about rail safety. Visit stoptracktragedies.ca.
Welcome back to Great County Life on Rogers TV, and we are thrilled to say that we have the extremely talented Matt in our, I want to say studio, but you're in your van on the road, which is the coolest thing ever. Matt, whereabouts are you?
I wish I knew. I think I'm somewhere west. I'm somewhere west of Dryden, and I just got signal back, so I'm so glad we could talk here. I'm parked next to a lake here, and in my van home, my permanent home, but also my tour vehicle. So I'm just on the Rolling Wave tour right now.
That is so cool. I love that you do that in a van like that. It's inspiring to me just to be on the road, which is very cool. Where is your next show?
I believe my next show is a house concert in Saskatoon. I have a couple of those in Saskatchewan, and then I have and then a few public shows in Alberta, including one with the Red Deer Symphony Orchestra.
Wow. Very, very cool. Well, and I know that you were just in Owen Sound at the Heartwood Hall.
Yes.
And and this is to promote your newest album calling Rolling Wave, which has got some really cool tracks on it. When did you write this album?
I wrote this record in over the two of the pandemic winters. So I wasn't really planning on making an album. I was just, taking some of the extra time with the pandemic and all the lockdowns and stuff to be creative and to just like have no rules around creativity and just say, oh, I'm just doing some of this for me because who knows if they're going to let us out of the cage,
Yeah, exactly. I know that a lot of people, it was a time, I think it was Richard Yves Satosky that did a lot of creative work during the pandemic as well, and just said, it actually created a kind of a nice little time capsule there where we couldn't be out doing everything that we're always doing and has us so distracted all the time. Did you do stuff online during the pandemic?
I did a little bit. I tried to do, I did a few concerts online. At that time, I was living, that first winter I was in my friend Serena Ryder's basement in Toronto. And so I was broadcasting from down there. And even my little daughter, Luma, she and I sang a couple of songs that on those live streams. I know some people got really into it. I did a few and I liked it enough, but I like people, this technology is great, so that so that people like you and I can have this chat, but otherwise I like being in person with people. That's my thing.
Well, that's just it. When you're a performer, so that interaction with the audience is essential to the whole experience.
Right.
How do you think the pandemic and that cutoff from society and from culture and everything, how do you think that has changed you and your music going forward?
Wow, great question. Singer. Yeah. It reinstilled for me that music is not just entertainment, but it brought me back to the spiritual element of what artists are meant to do, what the role is, and what the reflection back of society, and how and part of the reason it brought that back to me was because all of a sudden we weren't really like concerned with what was true. It was just arguments over this and that, and a lot of division. And I found that the role of an artist is to reflect back to society what's happening, and so that's always been really important to me. Instead of just pandering to what people already really want just on a superficial level, I thought, oh yeah, so maybe this album has touches of that, but this album for me is more playful. But I think what it's done, like to your point or to your question, for me is changed it. It's reminded me that this is a spiritual calling. This is a vocation. It's not a career. I'm not a song and dance man. I'm not an entertainer, but like I have a real responsibility, and that's what it's done for me.
Wow. Wow. That sounds like a huge benefit to a very challenging time.
Yeah, I think it just slapped us all back into reality in a way, or if you were hell bent on escaping reality, it gave you a lot of excuses for that too, I think.
It most definitely did. Yes, I certainly partook in that myself as well. Yeah. So
Yeah.
your tour, do you get to take your daughter with you for this tour?
No, not this time. She's in grade 3, and so me and her mom decided that it'd be better for her to stay in school and all that stuff and enjoy her friends. But we did talk about it because I've done a lot of trips with her.
Yeah. Well, and after being not able to be in school and with their friends and socializing and getting that element of their education, it's kind of good for our kids to be back in routine as well.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think, well, routine can be such a beautiful thing for learning, but also for creativity. I find that, I mean, I'm a nomadic person in general, but I find routine helps my creativity a whole lot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was going to ask that. Are you disciplined in the idea that you sit down and do writing every day, or is it something that you get sparked by an idea and then you write?
Well, it's kind of both of those things have been my experience. When I do decide to do writing, I often, in the last years, I've enjoyed doing a song a day challenge. So my favorite thing is to take a week or 2 weeks and just say, okay, this week I'm going to write a song every day. And I do. Then I get really disciplined, and I know that stuff will come out, especially if you do it the quick time limit. It forces you to ask your inner judge to step aside for a moment. I'll invite you back in after this week is done, but until then, we're just going to go with intuition, with play, with wonder and imagination, and just see what comes through. And in fact, it's a great way to open that channel up. And so that's often how I've been doing it. But I also, I mean, when you're a father and a person living in a van and trying to administrate your own music work and tour and plan stuff and emails and everything, it takes a lot more of the time away from those lightning sparks. But I still get those all the time. Like, oh, that would be a great song. Too bad I've got to rush another 600 kilometers today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
With the new album, do you pick favorites? Do you have songs that are especially poignant for you, or is it just all your baby and it's out there?
I do absolutely have favorite songs. Yeah, but normally what it is what's the song that's being called for in the moment ends up being my favorite one,
Yep. Well, I think you're planning to sing something from the new album for us, so we'll maybe take that as a hint as one that you're particularly fond of.
Sure. Well, I'll try to set the phone down here so it in the phone so it works. That's a weird look, that place here. How about this? You still hear me here?
We sure can.
Okay, well, you're getting the real van life situation here.
That is so cool.
This is a favorite one that I like. It's called Inside Out Man. And basically, I like this one because it sort of has that John Prine style of playfulness with the lyrics and the images and stuff. So it's very much like my version of what a John Prine song would have been. And of course, we lost him during the pandemic time. So you ready?
We are totally ready. And you know what? One of my favorite performers. So I'm so glad you picked this one.
Excellent. All right, here we go.
Okay.
I think This is the real life here. All right. It's gonna be good enough. I got a quiver full of arrows and a recurved bow. I smell new life under the snow. April, May, June, July. I look my target in the eye. I shiver when I'm hot, sweat when I'm cold. Things backwards, I've been told. I see you wanna be alone. You wanna be alone with me, 'cause I am the inside out man. I'm so inside out, man. If inside's outside, I need to go out. Would you go out with me? We could stay in when I'm living outside. I'll be right side in. The real outside's inside, my friend. I've been on the wrong side out. And no one even knows what I'm talking about, 'cause I am the inside out, man. They call me inside out. Can I hold your hand? Tell me what's your name? I'm inside out, man. Don't run away. But I'll run away, 'cause my heart is broken. Might say things should not be spoken. Ooh, I am the inside out, man. I'm so inside out. If inside's outside, I need to go out. Would you go out with me? We can stay in when I'm living outside. I'll be right side in. The real outside's inside, my friend. I've been on the wrong side out. No one even knows what I'm talking about, 'cause I am the inside out, man. They say I'm inside out. Yes, I am the inside out, man. They call me inside out. Yeah.
Oh, total John Prine feel to that. Very, very cool. I love the lyrics.
Thank you. Thank you very much for listening.
Oh gosh, I feel like we got a private concert. Was very cool. But when are you going to be back in Grey and Bruce counties again?
Well, I'll be coming back to just enjoy myself in June, I'm sure. I also will be actually June 24th, I believe. I think it's at 4 p.m. I'm going to be playing a solo concert at the Ibu. I know some people call it Haibu.
Haibu, yep.
Right.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I do. I don't know why. Haibu.
I know we do that. I got corrected when I was living in Owen Sound there. I got corrected. It was a Haibu. Like, well, it is a French word, but anyways.
Hey, I remember it's called Painter's Bay. So yeah, it's like just we'll know that that's where it is. So that's in June.
Yeah, I believe that's June 24th at 4 p.m. It's a free outdoor, like 45 minutes or an hour of me solo. Yeah, I was asked to do that a little while ago, and I just remembered that now. So I'm so glad that you asked.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait. I'll be getting down there for sure. That's on June 24th. I want to write it down. June 24th. Now, when I was reading online, I believe you're going to be at Summerfolk this year.
I am not going to be at Summerfolk.
Well, I read that online.
Yeah, I don't know where that would have come from. Somehow I was asked to do Summerfolk one time, and then and sort of was asked to do it more or less volunteer, and then I've been trying to get back into Summerfolk since, and be hired, and I don't know, I can't.
Well,
I don't know what
change that, Matt. We will start a petition, and we will get you at Summerfolk.
We want
absolutely.
I want signs on the. I want angry people. I want riots.
We'll have a mob.
Joking. No riots. No smashing windows.
Yeah. No.
No, but I would love to come to Summerfolk again. And no, I am not going to be there this year. Have not been invited, but I hope I'm going to try again next year. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that is, mandatory. We've got to get you there. Absolutely.
I should mention though, before we go, that there is a festival that I'm playing in July that's not far from Owen Sound. It's near Durham.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a new festival called Four Winds, and it's a really nice lineup that's playing. It's at this Riverstone Eco Retreat land near Durham, Ontario. So it's not far from Owen Sound, and I believe it's the July 14th to 16th weekend.
Okay.
And so it's about 2 months away, and it's Sarah Harmer is headlining. So we've got Sarah Harmer and myself and Danny Michelle and Elliot Brood and Alicia Brilla and a whole bunch of great people. So maybe the Grey and Bruce County folks would step outside down to Durham for a bit.
I think they will. When there's fantastic music involved, I think people are pretty enthusiastic in this area.
Definitely. Very artistic counties in general. A lot of artists of several different mediums. I really enjoyed that community when I was there, and every time I'm there now.
Yeah. It's I don't know if it's something in the water or what. We've been pretty blessed with talent and inspiration.
Yeah. I think it's just the natural beauty plus affordability means artists can live there as well. Of course, although everything's changing a lot, but that is what breeds, artists and that kind of community is affordability, natural beauty, and also, of course, long history, because communities and countries with longer histories are more in touch with their identities, which means they can handle being reflected back to.
Wow. Yeah. I've never thought about it that way. That's incredible. Matt, thank you so much for taking the time today and pulling over by a nice lake to share some of your fabulous music with us. We really appreciate it. We wish you the best of luck, or break a leg, I guess, on tour. Yeah, whatever the appropriate thing is. But thank you so much, and can't wait. And I want to let people know that if they want to see and hear that new album.
But he's, taking up some space. And just a perfect shot.
And we got a tie ball game. Nice low shot. Right around.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too.
Al-Anon and Alateen can help.
Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Hey, you're so right. Zach has terrible takes.
I know, right? Like, legit. Everyone makes fun of my take just because I wanted to be bold and just throw myself out there.
But also, I got to apologize quickly. I can't come back next season. Live Golf has paid me $50 million to do their sports wrap show.
The Jays do not make the playoffs.
That's it. I'm leaving.
That's when Odell Beckham Jr. will be donning the green and yellow.
Welcome back to Grey County Life on Rogers TV. Charlie and I are thrilled to say it is time for Adorable Adoptables with Renee. And Miss Renee, who is this happy-looking puppy?
Okay, I think he's a little camera shy. He keeps looking away. This is my buddy Fergus. And Fergus is a 7-year-old neutered male Springer Spaniel. Here you are. Here you are.
Oh my goodness, Fergus, you're practically the same age as Charlie. Hello, Fergus. Love the name.
He's not quite so sure about this camera business as Charlie is. He's not practiced enough. Now Fergus came to us, unfortunately or fortunately, as an owner surrender. Unfortunate, of course, for Fergus, but the advantage for those watching, we have history, which is a nice change. We don't get a lot of that. Fergus has been very well vetted, so that's the first bonus. We know that he's neutered. Here you are, buddy. There you are again. We know that his vaccines are up to date. We know that he's been very well maintained health-wise. He's got no medical concerns. Sometimes as they approach the age of 7 and up, people get worried about those sort of things. We don't have to worry about that. Now, Fergus does have a tiny little lump on your cheek. I don't know if you're going to look at us, probably not on the right side, which has been tested and is absolutely nothing but a funny little fatty growth. So again, all of his vetting has been done and he's been given the clear, and he was just there in February, so right up to date, which is very nice. So although he is almost a senior, we don't have to, he's looking out the window now, there's his mom. We don't have to worry about any of those senior sort of things because he's been well maintained. It's sort of like an older car. When they know that they've been maintained, it's not such a big deal. Now, the advantage of it, exactly. The advantage of him being a little older is, of course, he's a little quieter. I say that as he's now looking to go on an adventure. Sorry, buddy. 7 is a good age in which they start to settle. Springer Spaniels are a busy dog. They're similar in personality to like a Border Collie. Here's your face on this side. Hi. Similar to like a Border Collie in energy level. They need a lot of activity. They need a lot of stimulation. They need a lot to do. By this point, they start to settle, which is kind of nice. Somebody else got all the hard stuff, and now he's easy. He's had his training. He's super good in the house. Hello again. Welcome back. He's super good with other dogs. He's been raised with another spaniel. So unfortunately, that spaniel didn't come in with him. So he's missing his buddy. So he'd love a home with another dog. He is also good with cats that are good with dogs. What I mean by that is if the cat starts something, he might react poorly towards that. But if they don't, he's totally okay with them. So you know your cat, if you're watching and you're thinking about this dog, if your cat's going to start a fight, you're going to have a transition period for sure.
And we all know cats that are like that.
Well, that's why I'm saying it. He's met a few here that weren't very appreciative of him in their space, and he didn't like that, which I get. He is great with children of all ages. So if you're looking for a dog that's easy to move into your family, that's mid-size, that's quieter, already vetted, comes with a clean bill of health, this is your guy. This is easy. This is like move in and have a dog, as opposed to move in and have a dog that you've got to take some time and train and do some work with, which is perfect for somebody who doesn't have as much time as maybe somebody like they have the time for a dog, but maybe not the extra time to train a dog or work with a dog or go through that. There is certainly going to be a transition, but it should be a fairly easy one. I mean, he's had his worst couple of days here, unfortunately, but he's handled it very well. I mean, I always hate to say that because they do have a couple of sad days here, but I think he's going to be quite happy just to get the heck out of here, which is perfect. You can crate him. He has been caged periodically, and he tolerates that, which does make all that other stuff a whole lot easier. Right? Fergus, you want to come back over here? He's like, I just want to leave. Hi, can you come over here?
I just want a home. Yeah.
I just want to go home. There you are. There's your face again. Nope. And nope. He does take the camera.
You mentioned the fatty deposit. Is that normal as dogs age?
It is. Some breeds are higher risk of that. The light-colored white dogs often get little lumpy bumps. The poodle mixes, spaniels are a big one. and labs actually do get them a fair bit as well. It can be attributed to genetics. It can be attributed to pigmentation. So a lighter skinned, fairer, thin skinned dog is more apt to get them. And the Spaniels, of course, are of the thinner skin breeds. Oh gosh, that's hard to say. Thinner skin breeds, right? A little thinner skin.
Fast.
No kidding. I don't want to say it again. I struggled with it the first time, which is good. Don't make me. I mean, one of the advantages, of course, of adopting an older dog is that you sometimes get the full write-up medically. It gives us the opportunity to not have to worry about this lump on his face. I mean, we certainly, had he come in without any history, that would be the first thing we'd be checking, which would slow his adoption time, his time here, slow his adoption time down. So we're glad for that. Right. Yeah. So
there's a lot to be said for not having to go through that puppy time.
Absolutely. As he's looking to go out the window. That's not good, buddy. That's not good. There you are. That's better.
He's very, very handsome. I love his face.
Yeah, he's adorable. Absolutely adorable. And he's got really great personality too, which is double the fun, right? Right. So
even if you're not he's a swimmer. Yeah, I'll bet you he is. And if you're not in the market for taking on a pet, you've got the opportunity, if you want to come and walk a pet for, to get your fill as well.
Absolutely. Please do that. The weather is nice. We have lots of dogs here that love to go for walks and not a heck of a lot of time to do it ourselves. We do it, but I mean, we'd certainly appreciate it if you did. It is important that dogs meet other people. It gives us an opportunity to assess the kind of people they like. For example, maybe you're a teenage boy, or maybe you're a grown man, or maybe you're a young female. I mean, all of those things are different to dogs, and it helps us help them go home. It also gives them the exercise they need. It gets them out of here, gives them a change of pace. And you know what? It's good for people too. Like you said, it gives you your dog fix. Even if you have dogs, it's an opportunity to feel like you're making a difference and helping us make them go home. Also, you might fall in love and at the same time take them home. And even if not, you might know somebody who might be looking for a said dog. You might be taking Fergus for a walk and being like, my Aunt Joanne, she would love this dog. I mean, who knows, right? That's how those sort of things happen. Right.
Yep.
Right. Oh, hello. Welcome back.
How did the three kittens from last week, are they homed? Mary Jane would shoot me if I didn't check in.
Yes, they are. Hooray for homes. Hooray for homes. Yes. We still have our buddy Ozzy from a few weeks back. He was the lab shepherd mix, 1-year-old. He's still here, but he has some potentials. We're still trying. We're still pushing. With a dog, it takes a bit of time. We want to find the right match. We want to make sure he's going to the place he's going to stay, and that might take us a little longer, but that's totally okay. He's happy. We're happy. Okay. It's all good. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you, Renee, for the update, and we will see you next week on Grey County Life on Rogers. See you next week, everybody.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Clubs, leagues, and courts in every province and territory across Canada, squash is the sport for wall-to-wall fun, fitness, and friendship. From coast to coast to coast. Learn to play, and you'll want to do it every day. Squash. Play inside the box.